I'm Nancy Norman with Weekly Wisdom. We have been studying the divine law of divine discontent. That's that time when we're not feeling connected necessarily, when we feel a little bit fidgety and unbalanced and maybe uncertain. There's so much stuff going on that in our world today, and it can't help but affect us if we allow it. But we are looking at that discontent, that divine discontent, in a new way. We are looking at divine discontent as something good because it's calling us ever forward to live a greater life. It's calling us to greater faith and greater understanding. And during this time, I invite you to stay focused on your connection with God. Keep in constant conscious contact with the power and presence of God, remembering that this is a time to lift your vision, knowing that whatever uneasiness, unbalance, uncertainty that you may be feeling or experiencing, it is a call for your greater good to become manifest in your life. I like to think of this process as a birthing process. There's something new coming into your life, and all that is not for your highest and greater good is simply falling away, making room for the genius that dwells within you, that lies within you, that is waiting to express in your life. The author, Joseph Murphy, once observed, "Keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best." Keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best. And your subconscious will faithfully reproduce your habitual thinking. Keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best, and your subconscious will faithfully reproduce your habitual thinking. Emma Curtis Hopkins, the early metaphysician, she was known as the teacher of teachers, kept telling her students over and over and over again. She kept saying, "There's good for you, and you ought to have it." She did not let them forget that. And I want to tell you, there's good for you, and you ought to have it. And this sense of divine discontent, it is simply the greater good trying to be born through you into your life. There's good for you. Divine discontent, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. God or the universe is always working on your behalf. Always. I like to say that the universe is working behind the scenes to make sure that your life is good and getting better. The universe is always working behind the scenes to make sure that your life is good and getting better. Now, today I would like to introduce a new law that goes right along with the law of divine discontent. And it is called the law of divine restoration. Divine restoration. In Catherine Ponder's book, Open Your Mind to Prosperity, the very last chapter is a chapter on divine restoration. And I will tell you, it is a chapter that I have read and reread and reread. Because sometimes our difficulties begin with a sense of loss. Now, there's not one single person that I know of that hasn't experienced a loss of some kind. I hear things like, well, everything was wonderful until I lost my job. It was fabulous until I lost my home. Oh, my life was beautiful until I lost my savings, or I lost my health, or I lost my business, or I lost my spouse. You name it. We all have we all have losses that we have gone through. And believe me, I'm not downplaying those losses at all. It is always good to spend that time grieving those losses and addressing them, because we can't move forward until we do. But this law of restoration brought hope to my life when I was feeling great loss. So loss, the very idea of loss, means destruction or ruin. And as I said, we've all experienced it to some way. The problem is, and many times, when we don't address loss and move through loss, it gets lodged in our conscious and subconscious minds. And when that happens, then we begin to experience some problems and some difficulties. They begin to show up. I want to share with you what Catherine Ponder said in this book, Open Your Mind to Prosperity, the last chapter on restoration. It has helped me to such a great degree. It says, a powerful way to overcome the thought of loss and its consequences is to remind yourself of this great truth. There is no loss in spirit. There is no loss in spirit. You cannot lose your good. When it seems you've lost your good, it is because your good has changed form. Your good has changed form. Remember that there can be no loss in any phase of nature. The elements of nature merely change their form. When your good seems to leave you to fly out the window, let it go. Let it go. That is good you have outgrown. Then watch for new good to come through the door. She goes on to say that in nature, there's always beginnings and endings. She said that if you clip a bunch of roses from a rose bush, it continues. And it continues to produce even a greater abundance of roses. So she said, God always gives the increase. God always gives the increase. And then she talks about the meaning of restore. This great idea of the law of restoration. She said the word restore means to make beautiful again. To make beautiful again. And she goes on to say, the word restore means to make beautiful again. And through the right attitude about periods of apparent loss, you can restore or make your life beautiful again. For this purpose, use often this prayer. There is no loss in spirit. I cannot lose my good. I have not lost my good, though I may have outgrown certain phases of it. My good has simply changed form. I now welcome my new good, which comes to me in God's wise and perfect ways. My good is now divinely restored. My life is made beautiful again. God bless you and have a wonderful week.